Who doesn't love catching trout? Even those stocked ones. I know I do. Now, I'm next to a stream right now. It's full of a lot of wild brown trout, but listen, there are days in my life where I'm not traveling around the world fly fishing. I'm back in Western Pennsylvania. There's stocked trout. It's just part of the game, and I love to catch them as much as you do. Let me share some of my top flies to catch these trout. And also, there's a special guest who's gonna share a fly at the end of this one. Stay tuned. When it comes to stocked trout, what's a fly that I love to use? Come on, it's an egg pattern. I mean, you show me a trout, I'm gonna show you a fish that's gonna eat an egg. Not all eggs are created equal. Now, we have lots of color variations, I'll get to those, but I really think about eggs in terms of sizes. I'm a fly tyer as well. If I'm tying larger eggs, I'm gonna be using a material like ecstasy yarn. You'll see a link right now to a video of a fly that I've tied with that stuff. It is great. But once I start going down to smaller sizes, I'm talking the whole way down to a size 20, even a 22. Tim Flagler, you know I don't use size 26 eggs. Come on, man. Then I like to use a material called McFly foam. As for the colors of an egg, I'm somebody that tends to go with pale colors, pale pink, kind of a cream. Sometimes I'll go with a peach. Those are the colors I like. I even go with white eggs as well. Try those eggs, and if you have a favorite color, drop it down below in the comment section. Whenever I'm fishing an egg, I like to fish it as drag-free as possible, and there's just something about when fish eat an egg. It's like a thump on your line. If you're into Euro nymphing like me, and you have a micro thin leader, you will just feel that take and you'll set the hook, and it's just like a resounding yes as you catch that stocked trout. But listen, if you know there's going to be stocked trout, but even wild trout, put on an egg, they are gonna eat it. What fly do I love to use for stocked trout that pairs so well with an egg? Come on, it's a squirmy wormy. You should have guessed that by now. When I'm fishing an egg and a squirmy duo, we're talking one on the dropper, one on the point. I call that basically bacon and eggs. That's what I'm going with. But there's something about the squirmy wormy. I don't know, I've been tying and fishing them for years. But whenever I have stocked trout, especially those that are kind of newer to the water, man, do they love those squirmy wormies. There are some different ways to fish the squirmy wormy. The most obvious one is to just let it drift drag-free as you're fishing. But there are other times, if you get a squirmy wormy with a really heavy bead, cast that into slow water, let it sink down to the bottom, and then just try to twitch it back up. Once it rises off those bottom, gosh, those stocked trout, they will hammer that fly. Gosh, if you want to tie it, you can see a link right now. I have a couple different variations of flies with squirmy wormy that I've tied on YouTube. Favorite colors, I love red, hot pink, brown, even sometimes black. Those are the colors I go with. Squirmy wormies, gosh, stocked trout can't say no. All right, you know where this is going, right? Come on, we got to do the mop fly. No fish can resist the mop. There's a hashtag, can't stop the mop, and there's a reason why. Fish just love it. There's something about that material. When fish hold onto it, they seem to just hold it for that minuscule of a second longer, giving you more of an opportunity to set the hook. Now, think about this mop fly, however. Gosh, it kind of drifts like a parachute. It's very erratic when it goes into the water, so I tend to oversize the bead on those that I tie. Now, if you want to find my mop fly video, you'll see a link down below. It's probably on the screen right now. However, that was an old version that I tie. In my book, Fly Tying for Everyone, that one features my newest version of the mop. Can you believe I said that? I wrote a book on fly tying and I featured a mop fly in my book. The shame. Colors, listen, I like to go with something like a natural one, tan, buckskin. I also love chartreuse. If it ain't chartreuse, it ain't no use. And then a sneaky color that I think so many people underestimate, go with the black mop. If you're into social media, be sure to use that hashtag Trout and Feather so I can see what you're posting about and I can learn basically where you're fishing, what you're fishing, the flies you're tying, all that fun stuff. Come on, where do you think I'm gonna get my future video ideas from? All of you with that hashtag Trout and Feather. But be sure to add Trout and Feather on whatever social media platform you use. I'd love to connect with all of you there. When we're talking about stocked trout, these are fish that are kind of willing to chase, especially when they're early on in those rivers, streams, or ponds. So what flies do we like to use? Some streamer flies. I've had a ton of success over the last 25 or so years when I'm fishing streamers on stocked trout, streamers that feature the color white. My two favorite streamers, I'm giving you all kinds of extra flies here. I love to use the black ghost with a white marabou wing, and I love to use a white woolly bugger. I love to cast those out, kind of cast them across slightly downstream, let them swing, and give little twitches as I bring them back towards shore. Those fish will strike. Sometimes you'll have them strike short. Can you drop a trailing hook? Yes or no, I tend to not. But if you start to see those fish striking short, trim your tail a little bit, shorten it up, they'll grab it, you'll hook them, go with a streamer. Come on, stock trout can't say no to streamers. We got 2 more to go, but pause right now. Click that like button so I know you enjoy this style of video. Share this video with your friends just so we can get some views up there, so we can get more people catching these stock trout. They gotta get caught. And stock trout, I mean, what do they tend to do? Whenever they're in the river, you're drifting some nymphs, a squirmy or something under an indicator, they grab that indicator. So what should you use? I mean, you should use something that's a floating fly. Don't hesitate to throw on a dry fly. Throw on something that looks like maybe a pellet that they ate back in the hatchery. Come on, this is fly fishing. We're having fun. Let's not judge anyone who's using pellet flies. This is just trout fishing. Let's not get too serious about this. We're having fun, people. Calm down because I said pellet fly. I'm absolutely not saying find a pellet and super glue it to a hook. Don't do that. I know many of you probably have. Instead, grab something that looks like a pellet. I don't know, go with a foam beetle with brown foam. Fish a dry dropper, use that as your dry fly. It will help make a really smooth drift, especially off a Euro nymph setup. And they're gonna come up, they're gonna investigate that beetle, and they're gonna eat it. Because stock trout, especially when they're new to a waterway, they wanna investigate stuff. I mean, they're used to being fed. They're used to seeing stuff drifting. They wanna see what it is. If you start to see those fish hitting your strike indicators, put something floating on, have fun catching those. And now it's time for our special guest. We have Carson of Happy on the Fly here to join us today. That's his YouTube channel. It's a great channel. I'll put it down below in the description of this video. Carson, welcome, bud.
Marco, thank you, Tim.
You're welcome. What's great about Carson, I mean, he's been helping me film all summer 2022, taking pictures, but let's also talk about the notion that he is a fly fisher. He's a member of the Youth Fly Fishing Team USA. He's from State College, Pennsylvania. He knows wild trout. He also knows stock trout. That's what you're going to share with us today, right?
Yep, exactly.
All right, well, cool. I think we're talking about favorite flies.
Yep.
You share one with us.
Yep, that is the Pat stonefly. I just learned this not too long ago, but it's something about stock trout and that Pat's rubber leg that just attracts them. That just, when you start jigging, we'll talk about techniques later.
Yeah.
But when you jig them, I mean, the action that it gives is just incredible, and then it produces results, which I do love. So.
All right, well now I'm gonna pick your brain because no one was able to pick mine for sizes and anything like that. Tell us what sizes, do you have any variations, any colors you include on your Pat's rubber legs?
Usually I just use a lead wrap for weight. Probably just 15 wraps with a .025. Okay. And then probably for size, probably a size 8. Probably will stick right there. That's probably my perfect size for a stonefly. All right,
so I'm hearing keep them heavy, use a size 8. Was there any pink you involved with this fly?
Yes. What you would do, like if you have a really stock stream and you know they probably just released trout in there, try probably a bead head, either depending on what size river or stream that you have, but pink is the key. Like, ooh man, it just when you jig it, just nymph it or something like that. Whatever technique you use, it just works.
I love it. All right, we got pink bead head, heavy, size 8, and I heard you talking about the notion of fishing techniques. Can you speak to that for a few seconds?
Yeah, totally. So there's a couple of ways. There's probably just 3 ways. Number 1, just regular nymphing it. You're nymphing it. You could just like cast it upstream, let it drift downstream. Another way would be probably jigging it. If that doesn't work out, just lift up your fly a couple times, let those legs bounce up and down. You can catch a lot of fish that way. And then the last way is probably just swinging the fly, just letting it cross the river, and it produces results.
Now I heard you talking about jigging it.
Yeah.
Is this aggressive? Are these just very light jigs? What's the gist of that?
Well, what I usually start off what to do with it is I start light, just tiny little taps, either with your thumb or you just lift up with your wrist or things like that, and then I progressionally just each time just would drift once and I'm like, okay, let's step it up a bit, and then I just start lifting it higher, and that doesn't work out, then I just swing it at the end. It's just perfect.
Oh, these are great techniques for pretty much all the flies that we've been talking about. Carson, thank you so much. Before I let you go, how can people reach out and contact you?
You can either subscribe to my YouTube channel or visit us on Instagram and Facebook.
You got it. Listen, all of you, YouTube, his Instagram, his Facebook, that will all be down below. And also comment, do you want Carson to come back? I mean, I do. This takes a little pressure off of me. Carson, thanks so much.
Hey, thank you so much, Tim.
You're welcome. There you go. Some of my favorite flies for stock trout. Which one did I forget? You need to drop it down below in the comments. What's your go-to fly? What color? What size? I mean, or is it a secret? But come on, there's no secrets in fly fishing, right? don't stop the fun yet. I talked about a ton of links and videos during the recording of this one. They're all right here in this playlist. All you have to do, click this playlist, let all that learning continue, enjoy all that information. It's for all of you. You can thank me later.